So simplification and proving identities is exactly the same thing, except when it comes to proving identities, they usually tell you to say, go and simplify the following, but the end product should be this. It's like they're telling you what is the answer. So in fact, if you were to ask me between simplification and proving identities, which one do I prefer? I prefer identities because they tell me which the end product is going to be this one. Now, sometimes it happens that even the right-hand side is not as simple. So you also have to simplify the side. Sometimes you simplify the left-hand side and then you also simplify the right-hand side. How do we go about doing this thing then? We'll come and say, okay, we are supposed to prove that this is going to be equaling to 1. Now, if you're going to prove, this is a skill that I will propose. I will propose that you draw a line. And then when you draw a line, you are going to separate your right-hand side and your left-hand side. Okay, let's start with the left-hand side because left is the one which starts first. So here we have our left-hand side. And then here we're going to have our right-hand side. So what does this mean? Here we're going to put everything that appears on the left-hand side. Here we're going to put everything that appears on the right-hand side. So these things are separated by an equal sign. An equal sign is going to divide this thing into things that appear on the left-hand side and things that are going to appear on the right-hand side. So on the side, you're going to write all the things that are appearing on your left-hand side. On the side, you're going to write everything that is appearing on the right-hand side. I usually say to learners, let's start with the right-hand side. It's usually simple. So in this case, what did they write as our right-hand side? What is written there? So we'll just write 1. Now, can you make 1 any simpler than this? Is there anything that you can do to make 1 any simpler? There's nothing that you can do with 1 again. So we'll simply put it there as 1. Meaning now our goal now, since we can't simplify any further here, our goal is to make sure that this whole thing here is going to give us 1. And then this side, I will come and write my left-hand side. What do I have as my left-hand side? I have 1 all over tan x plus tan x inside the bracket again. And then it says which we're going to have sine x multiplied by what? By cos x. So this is the part which is appearing on my left-hand side. So from here onwards, we are then going to say here on our left-hand side, are there anything that we can change using our identities? Are there any things that we can change? There are the things that we can change. In fact, if you see a term, you are going to change it. So if you have tan x, what is going to be tan x? Sine x all over 1 all over cos x. Now, on the previous lesson, we spoke about if you also have 1 all over tan x, we can also change that again. What is going to be 1 all over tan x? It's going to be cos x all over 1 all over sine x. Meaning, we can come and change the following things. We can say, okay, here, we are going to change this whole thing here. And then what is going to be this whole thing here? So we'll come and write this thing as the cos of x all over 1 all over sine of x. Plus, okay, here you have tan x. How do we change sine x? What are we going to have then? So we're going to have sine x all over 1 all over x. Then you still have your sine x multiplied by what? By cos x. So this is only the left-hand side. Okay? Now, if you continue with our left-hand side, we will then say, there's a skill that we have learned when we are adding or subtracting fractions. Okay? We said the first thing that we're going to check if our denominators are the same, and then we take 1. So, are they the same? They are not the same. Okay? If they are not the same, what do we do then? We are going to multiply. So our LCD then in this case is going to be sine x multiplied by cos x. What is going to be sine x multiplied by cos x? It's going to be sine x multiplied by what? By cos x. This is going to be all over. Then we go to our bowtie. Now on our bowtie, we are going to start with this one. This one is going to go with this one. Okay? So what is going to be cos x multiplied by cos x? So for that one, we are going to get cos squared x. Then there is this plus again. So we put plus in. And then from here onwards, we'll come and say these two, they are going to go together. What is going to be sine x multiplied by sine x? So you have sine squared x, close bracket. Then you still have, outside you still have your sine x multiplied by the cos x. So make sure that you just leave enough space so that you don't interfere the left hand side and the what and the right hand side. So the left hand side should appear on your left hand side of your line. Now, if we move on with this one, there is something that we have seen so often that now we know what it is. Okay? Look at this part. What is this? This thing is one. Okay? Yeah. Then we'll come and say, okay, we have open bracket, we have 1 all over sine x multiplied by what? By cos x. All over, we have sine x multiplied by what? By cos x. If they didn't write anything on the denominator, it means we have what? Now we are multiplying here, we are no longer adding. So the way we add and the way we subtract, there are two different things. Okay? How do you multiply? When you multiply, you say numerator multiplied by numerator, and then you say denominator multiplied by denominator. If you do that, you are going to get this one multiplied by this one, it gives us what? So it's going to give us sine x multiplied by what? By cos x. All over. If you say this one multiplied by this one, it gives you what? Sine x multiplied by what? By cos x. So we check here, how many times do you have on the numerator? How many times do you have on the denominator? So it means we can then safely say these things, they can divide each other out. So we say this one divide this one. Again, this one divide this one. And then what are we going to be left with our answer? Which is equaling to our what? Our right hand side. Yes, yeah. When we're adding, yeah. Yeah. This one. You mean I said this one multiplied by this one? Yeah, you could have done it here. I get the other one is on the numerator, the other one is on the denominator. Yeah, and then you could have said this one is also going to divide this one. It's just that I wanted everyone to be clear, like everyone to see what's happening here. So if it's like this, everyone can see it. Like no one can question what the other one is on the denominator, the other one is on the numerator, and then there's a multiplication. Remember, because there's a multiplication, it means which we are allowed to divide things out. Then now we can come and do the following now as our first work. Or as a homework. We'll come and do number 5. And then we'll also do number 8 and then number 10.